I don't think swimmingly would be the way I describe how it's gone. But I'm really surprised if anybody thinks it's gone radically different to how they might have expected. It was always going to be tricky, wasn't it, going out there with the sort of side that England had got, the kind of squad that they'd almost had to pick. Whether they picked the right players within that's another matter, but in the nature of the squad they had to pick against a side that's very, very difficult to beat over there. They're playing really well. They've got a really good attack now, very well balanced attack. I didn't think their attack would be so well balanced as it is, but the seam bowlers have outbowled our seam bowlers, which has been a surprise to me. The spinners is not a surprise, of course, and they play spin considerably more adeptly than our batsmen play spin, and their spinners are better than our spinners. So you know that you end up with what we've got.
They're looking pretty formidable at home, aren't they?
They are indeed. Yeah, I mean they're what have they played at home now? They haven't lost for. Well, I can't remember when they did last. Was it for 2-3 years or something like that? Is it maybe when England were there? I can't. But it's a long time, and they are formidable there, especially, you know, in their own conditions. They've got some control over their own conditions, which I don't have a problem with. I think everybody does that. We do it. I don't have an issue with that. It's up to teams to try and adjust. If you're going to be a really, really good side, the best side, the top sides, you've got to be able to adapt your game, and very few teams have been able to do that. Adapt from one. Let's call nation conditions to other conditions very well.
How long do you think Alistair Cook will continue being captain for?
I'm starting to think that it's weighing him now. I really do. You know, his part of his ethos is this incredible drive and stubbornness that he's got about him. That's what makes him the player he is, and it's what's made him the captain he is in a way. He won't back down, and he won't back down from anything. He won't back away from stuff, and it's almost seen like a, you know, it's a slight on him if any England captain backs down. But to me, he's starting to look. It's aging him, and it might be just starting to impact on him as a player as well. And if it starts to impact on him as a player, as one of your senior players, your most experienced batsman, if it's starting to do that, then that is not in the team's best interest. Now, whether or not, if he were to relinquish the captaincy, whether or not he would say, "Oh, it's great, I'll just fit in and play," I'm not sure whether he'd be able to do that. What I can see happening is possibly now, you've got, you know, there've been 3 opening batsmen in this 7 Test series, aren't there? 3, alongside Alistair Cook, 3 new batsmen. Now, 2 of them have shown that they've got the capacity to do that. Now, I could see the situation where Hamid and Jennings could carry on that and form a new opening partnership, and Cook could bat at 3. I could see that happening. He batted at 3 in a series in 2006 against Pakistan, so it's not something that would be alien to him. And I could see that happening, and then Root could go forward, and suddenly this kind of middle order hiatus they've had is a little bit more based out of 5. It's starting to look a little bit more solid.
You just mentioned them, just looking at a couple of positives for England. We'll start off with Hasib Hamid. How impressed were you with him?
I'm very impressed, yeah. I mean, it'd be hard not to. Again, he's not a player that I'd seen play live. I'd heard lots of good things about him. I hear lots of good things about a lot of players. You know, I have a Twitter feed, and when you're selecting a side, I just as an exercise, I went through all this stuff on his social media, on my own social media, just to see how many players. And one squad I was supposed to pick, there were 33 different players that I'd been suggested. So that's the tricky thing you get. Everybody's wants a player in there, right? So it's not easy to really say about somebody you've seen. What I would say is that when I saw him back for the first time, which was in his first Test match on the television, I saw 3 things, three deliveries that I thought actually you can just tell this guy's got something. 2 of them from Ashwin, successive balls from Ashwin. One was a fullish ball, which he got right forward to, and he leant into it and he put it through extra cover for 4. And the next ball was a little bit cleverer, and it went up a little bit more and it dipped a little bit more at him, and he thought I'm going for this one too. It looked the same and it wasn't quite the same, and he realised it wasn't quite the same, and he just played very soft hands and just played it down back with a square for no runs. But it was, you could see he picked the length, he saw it was coming there. And then when he saw Jadeja for the first time, he just picked him up over long off for 6. And I thought those 3 things told me an awful lot about him. One, that he's got this capacity to be able to judge the length well of the spinners in particular that we're talking about here. Secondly, that he wasn't afraid to open out, that he wasn't just a one-trick pony, that he wasn't just a blocker. But however, within those parameters, he also clearly just loves batting. You know, he can't have many friends in the dressing room because he just wants to stay out in the middle there.